Hi everyone, I have brand new preferred bullish scenarios for you. So in this video, let's go through all my bullish scenarios from the macro to the low time frame and see how they are in sync with one another. My preferred bullish Bitcoin Elliott Wave scenario on the macro is that this is a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, where the most common target for wave 5 is in between 98k and 174k per Bitcoin. In this scenario, wave 4 over here is a WXYXZ corrective structure landing right on top of the 0.5 Fibonacci, which is the maximum target for wave 4, pulled from the low of 2 to the high of wave 3. Additional confluence at the low of this wave 4 is that the exact low of wave 4 was made on top of the 0.618 Fib time, taken from the low of 2 to the high of 3. And also we had a nice volume peak at the lows over here, which can signal a reversal area, just like it did over here with wave 2 when we had the COVID dump, high volume coming in, but then eventually that was the beginning of a wave 3 to the upside. The two potential trading scenarios in this case, of course no financial advice, educational only based on Elliott Waves, was first of all to ladder the longs just above the 0.5. Expecting this to be a fourth wave, you do not expect high time frame candles to close below the 0.5 Fibonacci, so the stop loss safely above, laddering the longs over here and then moving to the upside, or at least looking to the upside. By now, this scenario should definitely be at break even, if not maybe a take profit 1. The more safer option though is to ladder in retracements like we had over here, or maybe the one that is yet to come, as I will show you on my medium time frame count. And then eventually ladder the longs in that scenario, stop loss below wave 4, trading it then to the upside. If you look at the high time frame scenario that I actually have two. I have a alternative now and a preferred one, but I think it is important for you to understand why the one is an alternative and why the other is now a preferred one. So in this scenario, we have a WXYXZ to the downside, and now we are of course looking to the upside. Now the first scenario I have in front of me is the alternative scenario. So here we have then a 1, 2, 3, 4 wave 5 ending over here with this wick. That is also where in this area the shorts were laddered, but after this wick I also mentioned that the stop loss should be around break even by now, so probably tagged out by now, so we can actually just remove this from the chart. But this over here is the most common target area for a wave 5. And as you can see, price now is moving above this target area. And if I show you my new preferred count, we have targets of about 35k all the way up here. But this is far above a potential wave 5 target, because if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4 and then a wave 5, the three targets, most common targets for wave 5, are actually on the chart, which is the 1-to-1 over here, taken from the low of 1 to the high of 1 to then the low of wave 4. Of course, price pushed through. Then we have the 0.618 over here, which is taken from the low of wave 1 to the high of 3 to the low of wave 4. That is also a target for wave 5, but as you can see, we pushed through. And then the most common target for wave 5 is between the pink and green fib. But as might happen right now, we are going to be pushing above this as well. So therefore, this scenario at the moment, this being a impulsive structure and then this being the end of then a wave 1, looking for a 2 to the downside and then a 3, is currently an alternative scenario, where the more, I guess, preferred scenario out of these two is that this is here a 1, 2, 3, 4 wave 5. So this is then a wave 1, followed by a corrective structure WXY in a wave 2. And then over here, we are working on another first wave, looking for another wave 2 to the downside before then a big 3 to the upside. So basically this then is a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then a big 3 to the upside. If I show you this structure over here in more detail, we go to my brand new medium time frame bullish scenario count. So in the group, I was actually talking to IDFK, he's in my Discord group, and we were chatting, brainstorming. He showed me a couple of scenarios which made me think. And eventually I came up with this scenario over here, which is my new preferred bullish scenario. So what are we looking at? First, let's start with the green count, right? That's the higher time frame count. So over here, we have the lows at about 19k, 19.5k. Then we have in green a wave 1, 2. Then we have a big wave 3, a wave 4, and then a wave 5 over here. Now this wave 3 is quite unique. It is extended. As you can see, the green Fibonacci, trend-based fib extension fib, is the 6.618, which is an extension target for wave 3, which it also has hit with the wick over here. So that is actually pretty nice. But inside this wave 3, we have the blue count over here, which is a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a wave 5. Now, this is quite unique because wave 1 is the extended wave, in this blue impulsive structure. So we have a clear 5-wave structure in this first wave. Then the targets for wave 2, 3, 4 and also wave 5 change accordingly because wave 1 is extended. So the most common target for wave 2 can be seen over here. Wave 3 does not have any common targets because wave 1 is extended. Wave 4 most common target is over here as well, between the 236 and the 382. Again, very nicely respected, just like wave 2 actually. And the wave 5 most common target has also been nicely respected, but because of the clutter I removed it from my chart. So all of these were nicely respected, for then this being the high of a wave 3. Then we had a WXY correction in a wave 4, and this is also quite rare but should not be forgotten. One of the targets for a wave 4 is the 0.146 fib. It is a very shallow retracement target for wave 4, but it is absolutely legit. The wave 4 target areas, the rare ones, are the 0.146 and the 0.5. The more common wave 4 targets are the 0.236 and the 0.382. But in this scenario, with the Fibonacci over here, the orange line pulled from the low of this green wave 2 to the high of this green wave 3. Of course, in log, I'm in the log chart at the moment. These fibs are also in the log setting. The 0.146 has been very nicely respected, as you can see. So this green wave 4 then being a WX and eventually a wave Y before then starting a new impulsive move to the upside, right? So if we then look at this new impulsive move to the upside, that is where the green 5 is eventually gonna end. So the green 5 in this scenario has not yet ended. It's still ongoing. We are currently in wave 1, 2, currently in wave 3 to the upside, for then eventually a wave 4 and a wave 5. Now personally, when I look at this scenario over here, what I think would be nice for this potential wave 3, you see the, let me remove that actually. So what you're looking at the moment, oh no, that's actually important. So wave 5 targets, right? I already spoke a little bit about wave 5 targets. Now this is a target for wave 5, the 1.236 and the 1.618, which usually is the most common target area for wave 5, between 29.6 and 30.5k, pulled from the high of 3 to the low of wave 4. However, because this wave 4 is so shallow, you can see that, well, this is one of the targets for wave 5, but we are already in this target area. And for me, it's quite unlikely this is going to be the high of the green wave 5. Also, because the structure over here, if this is an impulsive structure to the upside, it looks quite unfinished. So preferably, looking at another target for a wave 5 is the 0.618 all the way up here at 34.8k, or basically 35k. And this target for wave 5 is also a common target, pulled from the low over here of wave 1 to the high of wave 3 to the low of wave 4 with the lock setting, of course. And if price wants to go all the way up here, we are currently in the impulsive structure, the blue count, which is then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Personally, I would like to see wave 3 taking the liquidity at 32.4k, which is the liquidity taken from the highs over here. So we have a lower high, we have a higher high. I think it would be nice if wave 3 takes both of these highs before then a retracement ranging for a bit of a wave 4, before then eventually a wave 5 to the upside. So that is something I'm looking for. All the targets, the blue lines that you see, are targets for wave 3. And what you can also see is that we already hit basically the minimum requirement for a wave 3, which is the 1.618. So actually, let's remove these now from the chart. The 1.618 on the chart over here. This is the minimum target for an extended wave 3. And as you can see, price has already hit this, but I think this is not yet finished, as this might be a 1, 2, 3, 4, still more upside to come. You will see it on the lower time frame count that I still have for you. But then eventually, I still think wave 3 over here, taking the highs at 32.4k would be nice, for then a bit of a range. Eventually wave 5 to the upside, where I also have a target box over here with a couple of confluences that you can see, daily naked point of control, time naked point of control, some volume levels as well, some highs. Like, it's an interesting area, basically between 34.5k and 35k. So that is definitely an interesting level to keep an eye on, for then maybe a reversal after this wave 5 to the downside for a correction. If we then zoom in to the lower time frames and only look at this structure over here, I will go to the 1 hour time frame now, and I will actually remove the long scenario. So of course we have many long scenarios in this range. They all played out as well, maybe already target hit or still in, but that's all good. But let's remove them to make sure we don't have a clutter chart. So we have the high of wave 3 over here. Then we have this WXY wave 4, where wave Y ended perfectly in the most common target area for wave Y in a WXY, which is between the fibs that you see on the chart. Then we had this move to the upside over here, wave 1, followed then by a WX and likely a triangle in Y, which is valid because a triangle can only exist in a couple of spaces, Elliott wave wise, which is wave 4, wave X, wave B, wave Y, and wave Z. And in this scenario, this would be a wave Y triangle. Before that then ends wave 2, so we then have a wave 1, a wave 2, looking for 3 to the upside. Now in this particular scenario as well, wave 2 bounced perfectly on the golden pocket. So if this is a 1, 2, the golden pocket, the 618 and the 66 is the most common target area for a wave 2 by far. And we bounced over here, found a lot of support. It took a while before eventually we took off to the upside. If we then really try counting this move to the upside, we can say, hey, this is a 1, 2, where the low of this wave 2 is at the 0.5 Fibonacci taken from the low over here to the high of this wave 1. So that is a common target for wave 2, which is absolutely fine. And then we would be looking to the upside. And if I actually go to the 15-minute time frame, yeah, it's not yet sure if this yellow 3 is actually in. It might be currently this like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that would be then the end of wave 3. Now currently in a 4, which then is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But then the 5 I am talking about is going to be the yellow 5, which then is the blue 3. And then you get a blue 4 and then another blue 5 to eventually end the green 5. But as mentioned, what I would like to see and would like wave 3 to do is to actually grab this high over here. So if we use this high, pop, there we go, and we actually zoom in once again in the lower time frames, you can see we still have a little bit of upside to go, right? We still need to go to the upside just a bit. So I think this being a 1, 2, maybe 3, a little bit higher before then 4 and 5. So then the yellow 5 is going to be over here, taking the liquidity. That will then also be the blue 3, then we have a blue 4, and then we go up for wave 5. So these scenarios at the moment, as explained, are my preferred bullish scenarios on the Bitcoin chart. I hope this video was helpful or valuable to you. I'd like to thank you for watching and subscribing, and I will see you at the next one. Bye bye.